It's like I always say, when life gives you lemons, you sell your grandma's jewelry and go clubbing. Hey there for all the Parks and Rec fans out there. This is Miss History coming to you from inside the Eclipse nightclub with another Parry This video. This time we chose to focus on Queen Victoria for our next Women of History tidbit. Now let's boogie. Alexandrina Victoria was born May 24th, 1819, Kensington Palace, London, England, and died January 22nd, 1901, Osborne, near Cowes, Isles of Wight. She was the Queen of the United Kingdom, Great Britain, Ireland, and also Empress of India. She was the last of the House of Hanover, and the Victorian age was named after her. During her reign, the British monarchy took on its modern ceremonial character. She and her husband, Prince Consort Albert of Saxe-Coburg-Saalfeld, had 9 children. Educated at the royal palace by a governess, she had a gift for drawing, painting, and developed a passion for writing in her journal. Despite Victoria's feisty temperament, she was famously tiny in stature, measuring just 4 feet 11 inches tall. Later in life, she ballooned, with her waist reportedly measuring 50 inches around. Upon the death of Princess Charlotte in 1817, daughter of the Prince Regent, later George IV, there was no surviving legitimate offspring of George III's 15 children. In 1818, 3 of his sons, the Dukes of Clarence, Kent, and Cambridge, married to provide for the succession. The winner of the race to father the next ruler of Britain was Edward, Duke of Kent, 4th son of George III. His only child was christened Alexandrina Victoria. Victoria's father died when she was 8 months old. Her mother became a domineering influence in her life. As a child, she was said to be warm-hearted and lively. After her father's death and George IV's accession in 1820, Victoria became 3rd in the line of succession to the throne, after Duke of York died in 1827, and the Duke of Clarence, whose own children died in infancy. Victoria became queen at the very young age of 18. In 1840, Victoria married her cousin, Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg-Saalfeld. They first met when Victoria was 16. Their uncle, Leopold, suggested they married. Since Victoria was a queen, Albert couldn't propose to her, so she had to propose to him. And she did on October 15, 1839. At first, the British public didn't warm up to the German prince, and he was excluded from holding any official political positions. At times, their marriage was turbulent, a clash of wills between 2 extremely strong personalities. However, the couple was extremely devoted to each other. Prince Albert became Victoria's strongest ally, helping her navigate difficult political waters. Lord Melbourne was Victoria's first Prime Minister. He served in 1834 and again from 1835 to 1841. When she took the crown at the age of 18 in 1837, Melbourne helped teach Victoria the intricacies of being a constitutional monarch. He acted as the Queen's political advisor and confidant during the beginning of her reign. In 1840, when Great Britain was fighting wars with Afghanistan and China and facing a working-class movement, Melbourne helped the Queen work with an uncooperative conservative government and suggested she let her husband Albert take the reins of the state responsibilities. Under Queen Victoria's reign, Great Britain experienced unprecedented expansion in industry, building railways, bridges, underground sewers, and power distribution networks throughout much of the empire. Although 7 assassination attempts were made on Victoria's life between 1840 and 1882, she never gave up. Britain expanded its imperial reach, doubling in size and encompassing Canada, Australia, India, and various possessions in Africa and the South Pacific. The Queen was emblematic of the time, an enthusiastic supporter of the British Empire, which stretched across the globe. This is where it earned the adage, "The sun never sets on the British Empire." At various points in her reign, Victoria exercised some influence over foreign affairs, expressing her preference, but never pressing it beyond the bounds of constitutional propriety. During this time, the British Empire experienced only a few small wars, exerting its authority over foreign possessions. After several years of suffering from stomach problems, Victoria's beloved Albert died of typhoid fever in 1861, at the age of only 42. Victoria was devastated. She had a plaster cast of his hand made, and she would sleep with it by her side. She then went into a 25-year seclusion. Some say that for the rest of her reign, she wore only black. One of the major factors that helped Britain avoid European entanglements was the marriage of Victoria's children. Either directly or by marriage, she was related to the royal houses of nearly every major European power. Though the English constitutional arrangements denied her powers in foreign affairs, she ruled her family with an iron hand that helped keep Great Britain away from the intrigues of European politics. During Victoria's reign, the political climate in British Parliament went through a major transition. The Tory party split, forming the Liberal and the Conservative parties, and started a succession of opposing administrations. Victoria played a crucial role as mediator between arriving and departing prime ministers. Though she detested Liberal Prime Minister William Gladstone, she found ways to work with him, even during her mourning period. She was particularly fond of Conservative Prime Minister Benjamin Disraeli, who linked the monarchy to the expansion of the empire, which helped to restore the public opinion following her long seclusion after the death of her husband, Albert. Victoria continued her duties up until her death. In keeping with tradition, she spent the Christmas of 1900 at Osborne House on the Isles of Wight, where her health quickly declined to the point where she was unable to return to London. After a lengthy period of poor health, on January 22, 1901, at the age of 81, Queen Victoria had passed away. Her son, the future King Edward VII, and her eldest grandson, Emperor Wilhelm II of Germany, were both at her bedside. She was buried beside Prince Albert in the mausoleum at Frogmore, near Windsor. After her death, Prince Albert Edward Whitton, Victoria's eldest son, succeeded her to the British throne as King Edward VII upon her death in 1901. Her essential achievement was simple. Under her rule, the longest in British history until that of Elizabeth II, she had restored both dignity and popularity to a tarnished crown, an achievement of character as well as of longevity. Historians may differ in their assessments of her political importance or her role as a constitutional monarch, but none will ever question her high sense of duty or her transparent honesty, the massive simplicity of her royal character. Ba-ba-boy. Thanks for watching. I'm Miss History, signing off from the Eclipse nightclub. So tune in next time on DTG Productions for another Women of History blah, blah. For another Women of History tidbit. I regret nothing. The end.